Each year, about 35,000 people are diagnosed with an HPV-related cancer. In acknowledgement of last week's International HPV Awareness Day, Dr. Paragadsi is here to tell us more about how to get proactive about our health. So let's just start with the basics. What is HPV and how common is it?
So HPV, otherwise known as human papillomavirus, is a sexually transmitted infection. And it's a very common sexually transmitted infection. About 85% of people will become infected with HPV at some point in their lifetime. It's very important to know, though, that most of the people that are infected with HPV will clear the virus. But unfortunately, some people will go on to develop HPV-related cancers. And we don't know, why do some people clear the virus and why do some people go on to develop the HPV-related cancer?
And what types of cancer can HPV cause?
So there's a myriad of cancers that HPV can be linked to. I, as an OBGYN, am most familiar with and most see cervical cancers.
Is there a way to screen for HPV-related cancers?
So in terms of cervical cancer, there is a very common screening that you may have heard about, which is the pap smear, otherwise known as the pap test. And this is where your doctor or healthcare provider will take a sample of the cells from your cervix and send it to the lab to look for any abnormalities that could later lead to cancer. Your doctor can also separately screen or at the same time screen for HPV from sending cells from your cervix to the lab. Unfortunately, there's no routine screening right now for HPV for men, but I encourage everybody to talk to their doctor about HPV and what screening may be best for them. Everyone is at risk if they are sexually active at some point in their lifetime. So, it doesn't matter what your gender is, what your age is, what your sexual orientation is, you are at risk for HPV if you are sexually active at any time. And so, I want people to be aware of that. I want people to also not be afraid to talk about it. There's a stigma surrounding HPV because a lot of times because of its link to sexual activity, but it's very common. And I want people to take ownership for their own health and education and talk to their doctor about HPV and HPV related cancers. I'm really encouraging people to go to hpvcancerstories.com. There they can learn more about HPV and the link to HPV related cancers, as well as hear some personal stories.
All right, Dr. Godse, thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate that information. And we'll be right back with more Midday Maryland right after this. Stay tuned.